up guys, this is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the final of the giant sized turtles from NECA. Obviously this is Michelangelo, and I have to say this one looks pretty darn good. I mean, they've all been mostly the same figure, but we're going to go through the review anyway, make sure that he came out okay. You never know, sometimes one of the four turtles when they're getting separate releases might have changes or problems or whatever. Some of the early turtles had the scuffs on the noses. The last two at least haven't had any problems with that, so that's pretty darn good. And this guy looks great so far. We're going to see if that holds up through the review. So let's go ahead and not get him off the stand because he's too big for it and take a closer look. Okay, before we look at the figure, we'll just take a quick look at the package. I doubt people have enough space, most people anyway, to keep these giant figures in their packages, but it's not a bad one. It's a little bit basic, but you've got the big logo right there in the big window. I think that's pretty good. It's not bad looking. And then on the side, it's very nice if you wanted to put them on the side. That's a good way to display packaging. And I think the back is nice too. You've got a nice pose, Hasbro take note, and then some nice photos, and then some explanation of how you can swap out the faces across the different turtles. That's cool. And then there you go, another one there. So good looking package. All right. Okay, here we go. This guy's big and chunky, so we'll see how well we can do this. I don't remember how I filmed it last time. This guy stands just about 15 inches, which I think is what they're advertised at. And that's about 38 centimeters. We'll call it 38. Here he is up against Darwin, just so that you have size comparison. He is quite large. I know people... I mean, I give you the measurement, you should know, but a lot of people say they don't understand, they can't visualize it based on that, so I like to give you a very basic Marvel Legends build, so you have an idea. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a quick question of the day. How many of you guys collect these larger scale figures? This one's not truly like an 18-incher, obviously, but that's what NECA does. Do you guys like the big ones? I do, personally. When they're really good, they stand out so much. They're kind of an extra cool collection piece. Obviously, size is a problem. A lot of us don't have enough space for the collections we have at normal scales, let alone these big ones. But I think these big ones are definitely eye-catchers and something cool to have in the collection, so I'm happy to get them when they have something that I like. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, so aesthetically speaking, first thing I have to note is he's considerably consistent. I'm looking over him, and his black lines are all nice. The two-tone greens are all very clean. You can see the darker green on the back, lighter green on the front. The orange for his bandanas and things, that all looks good. The shell looks good. The biggest flaw I can see, there are two, and I think you'll see that they're not that big of a deal, would be the black line work on the M right here isn't perfect. If we're being completely critical, that's the first thing I noticed. And then down here at his leg, this line down here, let me see if I can get it to focus. Down there, it's a little wobbly. That's it. That's the worst stuff I've noticed so far. Maybe there'll be more, but his eyes are clean and straight. Again, the oranges, which is not an easy color to paint, those look good. The shell, it's not absolutely perfect, but it's pretty darn good. I have to say, aesthetically speaking, this guy might be the cleanest one of the bunch so far. Very, very pleased with him. I'll give the aesthetic rating an overall 9 out of 10. Yeah, a few flaws here and there, and he's a little shiny, I guess, but it's a darn nice looking figure. I like it, and the color scheme just works, so that's good. All right, as far as accessories go, you do have the smiley face, comes on him in the package. Then you get the angry one, and again, the tops of the heads are interchangeable, so you can swap out those options if you want to do that. That's cool. He comes with 2 gripping hands, 2 thumbs up hands, and 2 pointing finger hands. I have to check. I'm almost positive all of the turtles' hands are interchangeable. They're all the same color. I feel like they shouldn't be, but maybe they are. I think they are, and I think all of the heads, not counting the bandanas, are interchangeable as well. I'll check on that for you guys. I don't have mine handy because they're so damn big and they're not on display right now, but I'll check on that. So you do get those hands. You get 2 more slices of connectable pizza. That's cool. You get the communicator, which is incredibly well done. It does open up. That's nice. You get his grappling hook type thing, which is it's functional-ish. I don't know how I feel about that yellow rope. It's a little bright and garish, but still cool accessory. And then my favorite thing, his nunchucks have actual metal links in them, and they just feel and look so cool. So I like it. Pretty good spread of accessories. Nothing exceptionally interesting, but a fine spread. I will go, I'm going to go 8 out of 10. I do think some more hand options for each turtle in case you don't want to buy all of them, assuming they are interchangeable. I think that would be a good thing. Also, I have to note that he doesn't have a place on his shell to hold his nunchucks unless you try to wedge him in here, which probably isn't great, but you could. Or on his shell, on his belt. But so, you know, it could be a little bit better. but still, it's fine. And I think people that are collecting these big figures, especially the Ninja Turtles, I don't think they were trying to put them in like crazy dynamic poses and things. So there's that. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the articulation. The headband, can I get the camera up any higher without changing stuff? I can. All right, the headband, like I said on the last one, it looks a little awkward, but it is articulated. It'll rotate, and then you can see they did paint the hard plastic in there, and it's coming off. That's just the nature of hard plastic. But you do have that, and then you can pose it. You can use that hinge if you need to, so that's pretty good. Nothing broke, and I'm not being especially careful, so that's a good sign. I like that. There we go. And then the heads and necks are on ball pegs. I think it's actually a double for the top and then a single on the bottom. Let's lean him to the side. He leans to the side pretty well, either way. Looking down, it does take a little bit of force, and you might be able to loosen him up some, but I'm guessing there's hard parts inside those sockets. He does look down nicely. And then looking up, let's just rotate this out of the way and get him to look up as far as he can. I mean, the shell gets in the way, but he does look up. So the neck works. The neck is perfectly functional, and that is a good thing. For the shoulders, they're just standard ball hinge, so let's see how that works. Just about horizontal, not quite, but pretty close, so that's all right. This is flexible. This is not. I mean, it technically is, but it's too thick, and they are painted, so be aware. Even if it is a little bit flexible, you probably don't want to grind it too much, but it doesn't seem like you're going to have too much of a problem. It just kind of tucks in, and you do get your rotation out of the arm, not counting where the back shell is. No limitations really there. Let's move it down a little bit and work our way down the arm. Bicep swivel is perfectly fine. No problems there. Elbow pads are connected on the back here, so this piece is just loose and will get in the way, but also move out of the way some. So let's see. Bottom joint gets you about 90. Joints together. With a little bit of force, I got it to just better than 90. You might be able to play with that and get a little bit of better range, but this, like I said, is going to get in the way to some degree. So not the best range ever. I don't think anybody expected that, having this in here. I don't know how they could have really done that too much better. Okay, and then the wrists are just basic wrists. Unfortunately, they do have the wrong hinge. Anytime you have a hand like this, it should have the vertical hinge so that it can move up and down this way rather than forward and back this way. Like, that's not super useful. It's not useful at all. So that sucks. All right, inside the shell, we do have a joint, which is basically worthless. There's a ball peg in there, you can see. You can't do anything with it, not functionally. It's too big, and it just doesn't work because the shell is in the way, so be aware of that. But again, I don't think anybody expected the shells to have great articulation. For the legs, if you guys remember the last one, they are heavily ratcheted. Ball hinges. You get full-on splits, basically, no problem there. Going forward, as you might guess, we do bump into the shell, so let's see how that works. It does flex. So you'll be able to do it. It looks a little weird. It's not an apron, it is a shell, but it is flexing in front of the leg, so you can do it. It'll work. Going back, you can get a little bit out of it. This shell does move some, but not a ton, so as you would expect, some limitations, being a Ninja Turtle. Thigh swivels are usually stuck, but this one seems to be okay. They don't want to go out to the side as much. This one doesn't want to move as much. There we go. So yeah, they're in there. They're not great, but they're in there. For the knees, it's the same type of joint in the elbow where it'll technically rotate, though the elbow's not really sculpted for it. It'll rotate up here, does not rotate down here. Let's see what kind of range we get. Okay, bottom joint is almost 90 on its own. And then the top joint, yeah, that's good. That's way better than the elbow. I wish they'd done the elbow more like that. That works nicely. So good range there, definitely. And then it's also not too bad looking. That is not bad at all. That's a pretty good knee joint. I'll take it. Nice. Yeah, the rotation up here, I think it's more so just for assembly. I don't think you're really going to get much use out of that because it's so far seated inside here, but it is there technically. And then for the feet, they go pretty far back. Where's the camera focusing? There we go. They go pretty far back and pretty far forward. Not like a ton, but it's going to be enough. And then you're going to get your ankle rocker, which is kind of at a steep angle, but it'll do. So yeah, for being big Ninja Turtles, which you wouldn't expect to pose very well, they pose okay. It's nothing crazy, but it's definitely gonna be good enough, if you ask me. I'll give the articulation an overall rating of, for a Ninja Turtle, 8. I think that's fair. If it was Spider-Man, it'd be much lower, but it's a big turtle in a shell, so I think that's fair enough. So yeah, much like the other ones, it's a perfectly good release, especially since we don't have the scuffs on the noses like the earlier ones had. I'm very pleased with it. I think you guys will be too. I'm going to give it an overall rating of 8 out of 10. Definitely could be improved here and there, but it's definitely something you will want to get if you were already interested in it. If you weren't, I don't think it's like setting any records for new engineering or anything like that, so you probably won't care if you're not already invested or interested. But for those of you who are, it's a pickup. There it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.